Hey, this is Jaxler. This is an advanced speedrunning tutorial for Neopets the Darkest Fury. This video is going to cover getting into Mirrodale Castle during Act 3 with the fastest possible route. If this is the first tutorial video that you're seeing, I highly recommend that you check out the beginner tutorial that's located in the description of this video. So what this video is going to show you how to do is the world record route for getting into Mirrodale Castle, which makes use of sort of some different loading planes in order to load in the hidden trigger that we used during the beginner tutorial. So I'm in the same spot that you would be during the tutorial to get out of bounds to make your way to the out of bounds Shadow Glen Woods. So we're going to go ahead and set up that ledge fly. Hopefully the enemies don't mess with me too bad here. Yeah, they're going to be a little bit rude here because I didn't kill anybody. So normally if you'd be making your way through here, you wouldn't run into any issues with the enemies because I showed you the despawn route in the beginner tutorial. We'll just go ahead and make our way right through here. And so this should all look pretty standard procedure if you have been following along with the beginner tutorial. But once you get through to here and you start lining up for the tunnel, things are going to look a little bit different. So in the beginner route, what I would have you do is get an upwarp up to that tunnel and then start heading this way to the right. But instead of doing that, we're going to skip that upwarp up to like that tunnel, and we're instead going to head to the left. And so what we're going to be doing is, as we're making our way through here, to you'll see kind of these two green plains, grassy plains with trees on top of them, and this big rock face in the center. We're going to be kind of going through the middle of that. So when I set this up, what I tend to aim for is, I'll move Bergie over here to cover it. Right above Bergie's head, there's kind of this green, like, shoot of grass that goes the tallest all the way through the middle of here. So kind of above Bergie's head here, that really big shoot of grass. And I'm going to run so that Tor goes, like, straight underneath that. And if I take that direction, it'll actually... What we're trying to avoid is touching either one of those two grassy plains and upwarping to them. So we'll go ahead and use a potion of Mirka Speed. And then we're going to head through here, and then once we see Tor kind of on the other side, I'm going to start moving a bit more towards the up and to the left. And then we're going to come out into the unloaded version of Mirrodale Village here. So once you're like out here, you're really not at risk for loading in anything. If you see that tower in the distance, that's where you used to go in the beginner setup. And so what we're going to do next is, once we see the castle, and we're out a decent ways from where we came, we're going to turn our attention towards the right. So we're going to turn 90 degrees to the right. And I'm going to keep tilting my camera sort of back towards all this weird geometry out here. You'll see the smoke wall. That's the smoke wall that's there until you get the charm from Illicent's Glade and Act 3 revisits it. You're going to want to keep going past that. And eventually what you'll see is some tree leaves poking out just a little bit. You can barely see it. And then if you keep going to the left, you'll see this rock. So the green grassy plain that this rock is a part of is the loading geometry that we want to touch. And so you'll want to make sure that you're using a potion of Mirka Speed for this if you aren't already. And so what our goal is going to be is to upwarp on top of that green grassy plain, turn around, and then start running back towards the castle. And so what we're looking for specifically is to run towards that second pillar in the back. So if we head over here, there's all of these different castle pillars right here. There's this one on the left, there's a middle one, and then one on the far right, and it kind of creates like that side of the square. We want to aim for this middle one over here when we do the run, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to head back to that loading plane, and we're going to hold L2 so that we're running straight forward and so we don't accidentally fall. And we head straight for it. Then as soon as we get the upwarp, hold down and to the right and then jump. That's going to get you off of there, and then you're going to just head straight for that second spire. And then what we're looking for, the visual cue, is once we see that water disappear in the background, just like that, right about there, stop moving, you're going to pause. And similar to the previous setup, you're going to equip your cloak and then unpause, and then press circle. And that's going to pop you right inside here and get you into the castle during Act 3 here. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like at full speed, just so you have an example. I'm going to go ahead and load into my Act 3 save file, which, again, if you don't already have one of these, I highly recommend if you're not using the practice tool, because this can be a little bit tricky if you're not used to running down the PS2's loading times there. It will be worth noting that that is easier to perform on console than it is on emulator, but it's still pretty pretty lenient. So I'm going to go ahead and get my way out of bounds here. I'm actually going to show you the true world record route, which doesn't use that out of bounds method with the ledge fly over the pond. We instead do a mega jump, and I'll show you what that looks like, and I'll cover specifically how the setup works in another video. But just to kind of give you an idea of like what the world record route is looking for. So we'll go ahead and get that ledge fly just to get us out of bounds. The enemies are going to heck me a little bit just because I'm loading from the save file. Then we'll head down here. This is all pretty standard fare from the beginner tutorial. Hop our way up here. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop a potion of Mirka speed and set up for the mega jump. Again, this is going to be covered in a separate video just on mega jumping as a whole. So I'm going to go ahead and get my low gravity right there, get in the spot, perform the mega jump inputs. And that's going to get me up and out here. And then once you're out here, you can head through these trees, L2 combat strafe, off this ledge here. And I'm going to show you this route through here. I'm going to cover that mega jump setup in another video. But essentially what you want to do for the world record route is you're looking for that tree that's just kind of in there in the back, in the distance. And once you see that water start to appear, you're going to want to kind of hug around that waterfall up there. You've got to be a little bit careful here. And then I'm kind of hugging towards like the left side, like closer towards the inbounds. And I'm looking for that green grassy plain over there, and I'm going to hold L2. And then eventually, once I start heading towards this rock face right here, it'll eventually upwarp me on top of it. And that's going to load in what we need to load in. And so this is going to start to look familiar. This is just a slightly faster way of getting to the spot where you perform the skip, right? So I just wanted to show off what that route looks like and what visual cues I'm looking for. So again, don't go for the tunnel. You're just going to head this way. We're looking for that large, tall shock of grass in the middle of that rock face right there. Once we go through the wall and see Tor, we're going to start heading a little more up left. And then we're out. And then as I start to make my way through here, I'm going to start turning to the right and turn my camera to the right so I can see that green grassy plain. Once I see the rock, make my way up here, jump down. You want to jump down there because there's an invisible wall that'll catch you once you hit the y=0 plane. And then I'm just heading straight for that castle spire that's right in the middle. We're going to keep running forward until we see the water disappear. Then we're going to stop, pause, hit square, triangle, circle. And then we're back in bounds, and we successfully run. We're back into the castle here. So awesome. So that's what it looks like at full speed. If you have any further questions about this setup or any other strat in the game, let me know. I'm working on advanced tutorials for this game, so if there's anything you'd like to see in the near future, let me know, and I can prioritize that. Otherwise, if you have any further questions, make sure you check out the Neopets Speedrunning Discord, which can also be found linked in the description of the video. Thank you so much, and again, feel free to ask me any questions if you need any help. Cool. Bye.